Welcome to my garden. This is a garden tour of mid-June of my front garden. Everything is looking absolutely beautiful. We have so many more blooms now, and some things are finishing up, but then new things are coming and blooming. So here is the catmint, and it still has some beautiful blooms on it, but it is kind of on the way out, and eventually I will have to cut it. It's splayed out. That's what it does all the time after it sort of peters out. And it's still looking quite beautiful, but I might cut back just a little bit back there because I have a lavender and it's starting to encroach on that. Over here, this is the rose campion, and that is blooming all around this garden bed. Some of it self-seeded, and some of them I did plant in here. I have some agastaki over here. These are orange ones that will be blooming probably in the next couple of weeks. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. This peony here had finished blooming, but it was absolutely gorgeous when it was in bloom. So I did capture a little bit of that footage. Back here is the delphiniums, which are looking gorgeous, and I'm seeing some colors that I did not see last year. There is this super deep purple and this really light purple. I had not seen those last year, and it was looking magnificent in that light blue color earlier in the season, and looking absolutely gorgeous. So I have some lavender that is dotted around the garden, and it is all budding up. The pink one is one that I winter sowed last year, and I just kind of plopped them all in a pot, and then I just took it and plant the whole thing here in the garden, and it's looking absolutely beautiful and starting to all flower. So it looks kind of more white, like a very light pink, almost white. I have dotted in here a bunch of alyssum, so I'm hoping that they would put on some growth and really fill in this area. They do bring in a lot of beneficials, and I do want to have more of them in my garden. So back here, I do have another delphinium, and this one always blooms a little later, but looking absolutely gorgeous, and I love this color. I don't know if it can come through the camera, but it is almost like this two-toned color, and that's what the other one looked like a few weeks back. Panning over here, I have some daisies that are starting to flower, and I have some, I think it's sage that I had transplanted last year, so I guess it overwintered and actually starting to bloom. So that was kind of nice to see, but they're kind of short, so I'm not, loving it. One exciting thing is to see the yarrow blooming this year. I always struggle with yarrow in my garden because I have either the deer or the rabbits. I think it's the rabbits trying to eat it, and I took out a lot of it because it really spreads. Yarrow loves to take over, and I left a patch here in between, as you can see, with the rose campion. And it's absolutely beautiful. Some of this I had winter sown a couple of years ago, and I am seeing some of those colors come through because it was like this light colored mix. But I'm also seeing what I think was what I had last year. And I love this one too. It's kind of more on the red side, which might be the one I also had from last year. I don't know. Now they're all mixed up, but I'm absolutely loving the fact that I have some in here. So once again, these are all the daisies and looking beautiful. They are starting to open up. And in between that, I have put in some feverfew that I winter sowed, but not 100% sure if it's going to flower this year. And these are the single types, then that's what I wanted in my garden. Over here, I have this purple Veronica, and this is beautiful. I absolutely love this variety because it has that little green tip along with that purple spike, and it's looking really, really pretty. I do tend to cut it back often, and then it flushes back. I usually get it to flower at least 3 times in the season. Over here, I have this fern that I moved to this part of the garden. This is a Godzilla Japanese painted fern, and I'm shocked at how well it's doing on this part of the garden. So I'm very happy to see that. And so far, so good that the deer haven't eaten it. It does get eaten sometimes from the other part of the garden I had it in. So happy to see that. Back here is the Millennium Alliums, and those are all budding up. So we should be seeing flowers in the next couple of weeks. And then behind that, I did bring over an astilbe that is starting to flower, as well as the bee balm that is all budded up and going to put on a show very soon. Over here in this patch is the Radecchia. Now these are cherry brandies. I do have some that I transplanted, and they're much shorter and not as filled in as they were last year. So I'm assuming it has to do with the transplant. And maybe next year I'll have a much bigger patch here. Behind the Radecchia, right up against the chicken wire, are the black-eyed Susans. And unfortunately that does get eaten up. So anything that's come up from there, it has been eaten. And then back here, even like the deer can reach in here, and those while the stems were growing beautifully, it looks like it was eaten up. And yeah, I should have probably sprayed it, but they'll recover, and I should get some blooms later on. Over here is the St. John's wort, and it's looking so beautiful this year. It has got lots of little buds, and actually I think I see one bloom already. So these are going to pop real soon. Next to that is the Agastaki, and I didn't realize how the purple ones were going to be kind of shorter than the white ones this year. So I may next year want to transplant the purple ones to the front, and then put some of the white ones more towards the back. But the white ones are starting to form some flowers, and the purple ones are forming flowers, but they're a little behind. So this peony has finished blooming, but it was such a magnificent show when it was in bloom. I'm just sad that the blooms don't last very long on the peonies. I also have some foxgloves that were in bloom. They were closer to this peachy color, but they're kind of done now, so I will be cutting these back. Over here is a bunch of coneflowers. Some buds did get eaten up by the deer, but there are plenty on here that should be blooming in the next couple of weeks. Very happy to see that, and as well as looking forward to seeing many of these in bloom. They are the twist and shout for the most part, and then there's some just regular pink ones in here. I think I moved all the yellow and the white ones out to a different garden. Over here are the irises that had been in bloom in the spring and looking beautiful. So they're done for the season. And over here in this patch, I transplanted a bunch of the Rudbeckia Sahara, and I see that they've been nibbled on, but they should bounce back, and hopefully I can have some blooms in the fall. I am thinking that in this section, I really would like to add some penstemon with some dark foliage. I think that would look really, really pretty in this area. This is the little blue stem grass, and I had 3, but the other 2 are just not doing so well. I would like to buy some new ones and then just replace them because I really like this grass a lot. And then over here I have some of the feverfew, but these are the doubles, so they look more yellow. And I don't know that I like these as much as I like the single ones, so I might be replacing these as well. So that's the garden tour for the front of my garden, and I will do a separate tour of my cut flower garden as well as the garden in the back corner. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.